the Something Else Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Something Else Podcast. This is actually the second time we're doing this one because the first time one of the microphones just went completely haywire. Just tons of noise in the recording, so I couldn't really use it, unfortunately. So we're trying a different setup. So we're using one mic and I guess you'd class it as a dictaphone, really. I'm not going to do no self-promotion on the brand, but it's a Zoom H1. So what's this podcast about?
This podcast is about movies v books.
That's right. So if you hadn't noticed already, my wife is joining us on this one.
Hello.
Now she's the bookworm and I'm the movie... What's the word for that?
Movie buff.
Movie buff, I knew that. Shows how much I know about movies. So, yeah, I don't think it's really... I think just for title's sake we've called it movies versus books or books versus movies.
Yeah.
But I think we're just looking at how they are... obviously two different universes when you think about it.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to look at, like, different scenarios like... adaptations of both books becoming movies and sometimes movies becoming books.
Yeah.
We're going to see how immersed you can get into it because obviously films like the MCU, it's very immersive and books, well, you just get lost in them.
Yeah.
So we'll start off, we'll choose a franchise of each thing. So a franchise of movies for me, a franchise books of yours. I can already guess what yours is going to be. Not that we've done this before.
Oh.
So, we'll start with yours.
Okay.
The book of choice, as it's your favourite, let's be honest.
It is.
What is it?
It's got to be the Harry Potter series.
Mm-hmm.
And it is one of my favourites. Basically, as discussed on my last time, obviously, but we grew up with them, really.
We did, yeah.
As the books got released, it was similar ages to the people in the books were similar ages to what we were growing up. So very relatable, obviously. And then the film started coming out and even more relatable because you could physically see these people at a similar age and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Still waiting for my Hogwarts letter though.
Hey, I actually got you one.
You did, but I never went to Hogwarts.
Well, we did eventually. Got to stand in the Great Hall.
But I'm not a witch.
Hey, I brought you the wand. I brought you the map. I brought you the cloak. Or the... What do you call that thing? The gown they wear?
A cloak.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got that. Well, if you could... I mean, apart from the similarities of the ages of the characters and ourselves, what would you say really intrigued you? Like, what...
Caught me.
Yeah, what made you hook? What was the hook of Harry Potter for you?
It's definitely just the world of Harry Potter. It's the fact that it's so like immersive, and you can just start. When I was reading it, it's just like I want to be here. I want to be in this world. You know, I don't want to be in the Muggle world anymore. I want to be, a witch and be like go to Hogwarts and everything. And that was the big hook because I can't remember how old I was when I first read the first book, so I'm going to say about 10, 11, something like that.
I was about, I think it was year 5, so I would have been about 10. That's when it really hit off.
Yeah, because I actually read
the books themselves, sorry.
Yeah, I actually read the second book first.
Yeah.
Because I think I was in Asda with Mum, and there was this pile of books, and obviously the Harry Potter mania was started. And there was a pile of books, and I think I went to my mum, can I have this book? She went, okay then. Yeah,
I think
and that's it.
For me, I just remember this one kid called Dale. He was an epic kid, and I just remember him with the books, and all of a sudden, like...
Everybody had them.
Everyone had them, but then all of a sudden the movies were out. I was like, what the hell is Harry Potter?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't read all that much, and Harry Potter isn't one of my favourite things. I mean, I've been to the cinema, as I said before, in the podcast you haven't listened to because it didn't work. But
dragged to the cinema.
Yeah, but I can retell my favourite story.
Retell it.
So the first time I ever saw Harry Potter in the cinemas was, I think it was for my birthday, and it was the Philosopher's Stone, or if you're American, the Sorcerer's Stone. I'm pretty sure I said that in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
But and it was amazing. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. It's magic and stuff and weird things. But the second film we went to see, I remember that definitely on my birthday because my best mate Robert, it was amazing. Like this kind of show, he's more into Harry Potter than I will ever be. But we was into Dragon Ball Z, right? And it was the Boo Saga. And I remember it because we had these tiny little figures of some Dragon Ball Z characters, and we went to the cinema. There was me, Robert, my sister, and her best mate. And if you've ever gone to Birmingham, or if you're from Birmingham and you've been to the Odeon, you will know how horrible it is, but how awesome it can be. Now, in the
which Odeon though?
The one opposite, is it Primark now?
Oh, the New Street one.
Yeah. Like the main one.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's a crap hole, but it's still. Well, it never was clean anyway.
No.
But we was. I can't remember the room we was in. I definitely think it was upstairs. Just because I remember the arcade games, and we was on the left hand side. But again, if you've been to the cinema, I'm pretty sure all cinemas are like this. You got the seating in the middle, then on the side, and obviously on the side you're slightly on an angle. But where we was, there was an entrance, so you're just right above the entrance because you're on the high chairs, man. But there was this like ledge in front of us, so you couldn't fall off, and we had all these figures lined up before the movie started because obviously trailers last for about 4 years, and we had all these figures lined up. Goku, Boo, I think it was Kid Boo actually. We had Gotenks, Super Saiyan 3 I might add. It was amazing, but one of them dropped. My best mate was like, I'll go and get it. And I shit you not, he jumped over this like ledge thing and he disappeared. Like full on vanished. And then he reappeared on the other side of the cinema, confused. And I was just like, he's teleported. Honestly, my computer switched back on.
Hey.
And I'm going to switch that off. There we go. And it's come back on.
It's come back on. He wants to be part of the podcast.
My computer's gone mental. Turn off, damn you.
There you go. It's like those candles that just don't blow out when you have a birthday cake.
I hit the wrong button. I hit reset. But yeah, so for me, it was like, I've always been to the cinema. I've seen all of the Harry Potters on film, but I've never really read the book. And I only started reading the book in lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
First
time round.
Well, yeah, ages ago, I brought Sam like this e-reader that was touchscreen. It was amazing. And I put all the books on there, but I think it was the Americans one, wasn't it?
Probably,
because it had Sorcerer's Stone on it. And I still haven't finished the first one, and I think
it's like 2 pages long.
Yeah, that's too many for me. And I think what I found really interesting, we'll get onto this obviously as the podcast progresses, but what I found was the detail that isn't in the film that is in the book.
Yeah.
Like I love detail. My attention, like MCU do it with the Easter eggs. If you've been watching WandaVision, there's certain things you'll see and they think, oh my god, continuity, well done.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like that.
And
I find after watching Harry Potter, and then whether you see people online talk about it, or obviously when I'm talking to you and you're like, that was never in there, that was different. And I'm like, wow, okay, so they've missed out a fair bit of detail.
Yeah.
And I find, when we get onto kind of my franchise of film / game, you'll see this same sort of thing, really.
Yeah. I think with the books, especially, the films really, but I always find that whoever you watch it with and yet they haven't read the books, always ask the questions like, well, what does that mean? Well, where did that come from? Or, and you have to...
It's the whys and whats, isn't it? And
yeah,
where.
And I think that's where films fall down because, I know that you can't put everything in the films because they would be weeks long, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, but I don't even think if they were to pull it all in, even if it was like a reference or kind of like something just to give you a bit of info. Like, one of my favourite franchises, it's a book or a novel, both same thing really. It's very much a game because it's been going for 20... let me count. 25 years or something like that. It's been going for a very long time. But Resident Evil. Now, I've loved it since the day it came out, even though most of the games scare me. Even now, apart from the very, very tall lady in Village. But what I find is the movies that came out with Milla, last name I can't pronounce, I'm going to call her Milla John. When they came out, the first one was beautiful. And I'm very much the person who, if there's something based on, like this film is based on the novel of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, or based on the game, I'm very much, all right then, I'll watch it with an open mind. Like when they did the remake of Resident Evil 3, the game, everyone slated it because it wasn't like the original. I'm like, well, play it for what it is.
Yeah.
Because really it was a side game. But when I watched the first film, I was like, all right then, the main character, the protagonist who Mila John plays, isn't in the film, in the game, or anything really. They just made her up. But it worked.
Yeah.
But then as the films progressed, number 2 was great until it went weird. But they had Nemesis in there, which if you're a Resident Evil fan or just see the signs, he's awesomely scary.
Yeah. He's
like one of the main, greatest bad guys, if you will. And I found when they did the films, it was like they just kept trying to make it its own thing while referencing the origins of it. So in RE, look at me getting all nerdy. In Resident Evil 2, the game, there's a character called Leon Kennedy. Love him to bits because he's a newbie cop and his first day on the job, he's got to kill zombies.
He's never mentioned him in his entire life.
No, because Leon Kennedy's God. Move over, Eric Clapton. But as the series get on in the games, he becomes even like he starts doing all this awesome training. He becomes like one of the best, like not in a detective really. He works for the government in some like bio-terrorist organisation, chemical warfare thing. But in the film, he's never mentioned until like the 4th film. I don't even know how many films there are.
I have no idea.
It's like he's got an iconic look. Let's be honest. He was made in the 90s. He's got curtains.
Wow.
Yeah. And in the film, they literally just kind of make this big entrance for him. And for someone like yourself, you're like, what's so important about him?
Yeah.
But someone like me, fanboying out.
Yeah, you're going, oh my God, and I'm like, what?
And
what
then
happened?
like they had Barry Burton in there, and I can't remember the guy's name that plays him. He's the one that plays if you've watched,
Barry did it.
huh?
Barry did
Oh,
it.
enough with the Barry did it. She firmly believes that Barry started the whole of Resident Evil.
He's the main bad guy.
He's not.
I bet you.
He's not.
Any money, I bet you.
Read the origin.
I'm gonna get
Read
in
the
touch.
origin.
I'm gonna get in touch with
Capcom.
Yeah. So
Rewrite it.
can you just do this bit? It's just to annoy my husband.
But I think it's very similar to like your Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think what I found was the adaptation was just terrible.
Yeah.
They could have gone into their own realm, and they failed.
Yeah. They could have taken it into a different way. Have the people turn up out of the games for the fans, essentially, but explain who they are. You know, oh my God, this is Leon Kennedy. And people be like, oh, I remember his name, or I think I know who that is.
The problem they made with that was they tried to make it too much like... When the first film came out, it was based on it. You had the mansion, you had the zombies, you had the lickers. It was great.
Yeah.
You had some of the characters.
Yeah.
But then when they made the second one and the third one, it was like they just went... It was like what happened with Fast and Furious.
Oh,
it was all about the cars, and then it just went into really crap stunts. Like, I loved that franchise up until I saw number 4. And then I was like, I'm done with it. But I thought I've got my train of thought now. Oh, but something like The Walking Dead, I think that has probably been one of the best adaptations.
That is good.
Purely because the TV series started not long after the books.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, a couple of years. The books came out in 2006 or 8, and the series came out in 2010.
Right.
And then I've read all the books. Wow.
Did the TV show ever get in front of the books? Is that why they changed it so much?
Well, the comics do a classic thing. Obviously, if you've watched the TV show, you'll know what I'm going to say. But if you haven't, I'll try not to spoiler it. I know in the last time we tried to do this one, I did spoil it because I'm a dick. But I'm not going to spoil it. But in
Spoilers
the
ahead. Spoilers ahead.
Potentially, yes. So spoiler warning. But they did like a massive time jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't tell you what characters snuff it or whatever, but there's a massive time jump. And if you've read the comic, there's a theory that it's old guy Carl theory, which is the son of Rick Grimes telling the story of his dad. Which makes sense because Rick is the protagonist.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one that saves the day. He's the one that does all this awesome stuff.
He's the hero.
Exactly. And sad note, I had a little Rick Grimes toy that's based off the comic, and he broke.
Oh no!
Yeah, his leg fell off.
Is that because he had a fall from height?
No, I was playing with him and pulled his leg too far.
You have a 2-year-old son that doesn't break toys that much.
It's, kind of sad about that. But if you watch the series, yes, there's parts where they've had to kind of thicken it out.
Yeah.
Because in the comics are very different to books, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's mostly visual with a bit of writing. But I think it was the fact that they had to kind of add detail just to thicken it up a bit.
Yeah.
But one thing, and we'll get to this now for books, one thing that I found really difficult was when there's one of the best, I don't think he's the best in the series, but you've got someone called Negan.
Yeah.
Now, he is brutal.
He's a bastard.
Like, he is honestly like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But since reading the comic and then watching it on this TV show, I was like, I prefer what I got in my head.
Yeah.
And I know in the comic there's a visual of him, and they got that down to a T.
Yeah.
I mean, in the comic he's like a proper, brick house sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas in the TV show, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is tall, but he's not built.
No.
Like if you ever watch the Watchmen, he actually wears like a muscle suit.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. But this is what I was going to talk to you. Like, you've watched all of the Harry Potters, you've played all of the games, and obviously you've read all the books.
Yeah.
How did you find it when you first watched it and you was like seeing them there on the screen, real life? Was it what you imagined? Was it what you had in your head?
I think because I was so young with it, I think it was more of a, oh my god, this is amazing. But if I was to do it now, I'd probably have a very different image of the characters than I would what they put on the film on the screens. Only because when I always find that in books that you get so lost in it and that immersed that you sometimes you either become one of the characters and you're reading it from their point of view, or because they don't, like the authors won't give you that much description of them, so you are going
plant the seed kind of thing, don't you? So you have to add the detail.
Yeah, so you create this person, or sometimes they do give you a full description and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to be I can picture this person.
Sorry, just jumping ship. You've read all the 50 Shades of Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that goes into quite a lot of detail about what they do.
Yeah.
Of the main parts, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But was there any description of what they look like? Obviously, I'm pretty sure the girl describes what it looks like.
Yeah.
Do you think they did an accurate job in the films?
I think they got quite a good match, to be fair. I think basically, like Mr. Grey is very much, not a smarmy guy.
But it didn't say he was Scottish in the book.
No. Or terrible American accent. But again, you sort of put your own like image in your head, don't you?
You become the character, don't you?
Of course you do. Like and like because with the 50 Shades of Grey, I do think they got the right people in to do it. But
there was a book I've not long read. My sister got it for me for Christmas. Was it by Ryan Cross?
I think so.
He's basically an ex-SAS operative.
Yeah.
Former SAS, let's put it that way. And he's done some epic things, like stuff obviously he can't talk about, but he writes about in his stories. Now his stories are based on events, based on things he's done.
Yeah. So
you never really know which part. And the thing that I like is it describes some of the characters, mainly the bad guys.
Yeah,
like there's one who's got like a cloudy eye where he's been attacked and he's got a scar going down his face.
Right.
But then like some of the main protagonists, like there's one part where these I think it's 4 SAS members have to go in and save this kid. The book's really good, but they don't really, they describe the expressions they pull rather than their faces. But what he does really well is obviously, and it shows you that he's a true SAS kind of hero really, was I loved his attention to detail, to the stance. Like there's this one guy and he's only got 1 knee pad on.
Yeah.
Where everyone else has got like 2, but it's because when he's sighting up on his gun, he always gets into firing position and he kneels down on the knee pad.
Yeah.
And he created this wicked imagery, but because he doesn't describe the features of the character or anything,
you got
it was me.
Yeah.
And then like the kid who was running away, because it basically in this book, there's a child who's from England, and he goes to do this like foreign exchange program. And then gets taken away by terrorists, blah, 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 blah. He's like this really resilient kid, typical kind of hero shit. But like, I had a completely different image in my head. Right. Yet he was never really described just as like a 15-year-old kind of slim kid.
Right.
But I think it was just a younger me that I had in my head.
Okay.
And I found it really weird because, I mean, I love my films, but they're movies, they're the visuals.
Yeah.
And it's like when I play games, I've been streaming Red Dead Redemption 2.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, you can see your character.
Yeah.
You can go first person. But it's the fact that them kind of games are like movies.
Yeah, they're very cinematic, aren't they?
Exactly, and I think that's why I like it, because if you was to ask any person in the world about how much I analyse a film, ask my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows how much, like, I remember when I used to watch films when I was little, like, my eyes are panning the TV screen, and he would tell me to stop it and just look.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, because I need to see everything.
Yeah.
It's like, you tried to get me with Inception, didn't you?
Yeah, I
like,
watched it beforehand.
I'm good at getting, like, the twists.
Yeah.
And Sam had watched it, she didn't get it, and she was like, I've got a film that can beat him. Within 5 minutes, I nailed it.
I was like, oh, for God's sake.
Like, here's a cool one. I will go back to books, but here's a cool one with Inception. You know when he's interviewing I'm going to call them the patients.
Yeah.
And like they're sitting at the table, and that woman does the scribbling.
Yeah.
You know when it goes back from the woman, then it looks at him.
Yeah.
Then it goes back to the woman.
Yeah.
If you look at the woman, there's a guard behind her.
Is this Inception or?
Oh, not Inception. Sorry, Shutter Island. It's Leonardo DiCaprio. He's in many things. Inception's all about the totems.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
Shutter Island, when he goes to the insane asylum thing.
Yeah.
If you look at the patient, she's got a guard behind her.
Yeah.
If you look at his partner, he doesn't.
Right.
If you look at Leonardo DiCaprio, he has a guard behind him. That's another clue to say he's a patient, he's an inmate.
Spoilers again.
Yeah, my bad. But that's my thing. And it's like, I think with books, I can't read slow. I'll admit I'm pretty slow at reading. And I think when I'm watching films, I'm very much a visual person. I need to see something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with games, with movies, TV shows, because it's there, it's like a sensory overload.
Do you feel that when you watch a film that because you are so I don't know the word for it, but you're a very visual person, do you feel that you have to watch the films once, 2-3 times just to pick everything up? Not
really. I mean, I do anyway, because I always like to see something I haven't, especially now we've got, social media and everything saying, oh, check this out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, I can watch a film once and remember everything about it.
Right.
But then I can watch a film like Snatch.
Yeah.
I know every line in that film.
How many times have you watched that film?
I've watched it that much. My actual DVD my eldest sister got me don't work. Like, I've watched it that much, I've burnt it.
I can't watch Snatch with Ben because he literally narrates the entire thing, and I was like, there's no point. There's just no point watching it.
And I think for me, reading a book, it's a case where, like, because I'm slow at reading,
you forget about it.
You can tell when a juicy part's coming up, and I need to read it all because I want the detail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance, way back when me and Sam first got together, like almost 11 years ago?
12.
Is it?
Nearly
yeah,
12.
it will be 12. Yeah, so
12.
almost 12. Yes, I wasn't that far.
Yeah.
But I think it was your mum or your nan got me a biography of Keith Moon, the drummer of The Who. Moon the Loon, and it is probably it's probably like 2 Bibles thick. You know what I mean? Like, honestly,
probably about 500 pages.
Easy, but it's that detailed, and I like it, and I still haven't finished it because, to be fair, it's in the box in the garage.
No, you
I've never finished it.
Oh, blimey.
And the problem was, it was going through the part and he was talking about his grandparents. Bugger all to do with Keith Moon, but I need to read it because I want the detail.
You can't just skip over it.
No.
Right.
And it's like when I was reading that SAS book, it's really thin.
Yeah.
But it was probably the thickness of this Zoom recorder.
Yeah.
But I had to get the details in.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I get stumped. Like, I'm reading the Stephen King's Mr. Mercedes, the trilogy about Detective Hodges. And it's because of how he writes, I can read them.
Yeah.
Probably, if I really tried, probably one sitting. But it's...
You have to, if you're to read a book, you have to get an author that's very captivating then.
Yeah, like Stephen, like going back to adaptations, his film adaptations are pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Like The Shining, scared the crap out of me. The book is horrifying. The original It scares me because it literally came out on my actual birthday and freaked me out. Until you watch the end and you think, oh.
Yeah, what?
No spoilers, it's
something?
terrible. I haven't even watched chapter 2 yet, the new one.
No, I haven't, have we?
And I think that's why I've always found, for me, a very visual person, movies are always better for me. Not necessarily the best.
They're just better for you personally.
Yeah, and I find it's down to everything. Everyone's got a preference, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, what's your thoughts on movies like, obviously you're a bookworm.
Yeah.
But do you kind of get captivated in a movie as you do a book?
No. I find that if I'm in a cinema, I can get a bit, like, obviously because it is an immersive place
Well, you've
to
got
be.
that huge screen and all you can see is screen, isn't it?
Yeah, but even then, sometimes I'm like, I can be looking elsewhere or thinking different things and be like, oh God, when's this going to end type thing.
Yeah.
But it has to be, a really good film for me to, or something I'm really interested in to keep me my attention on the screen, because, sometimes I do get bored of it, if I'm honest. It has to be, like, really good just to make me sit there and be like, yeah.
See, me, I could go to the movies, watch a really shit film, but because of how interested I am in movies, I will watch their eagle-eyed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I'm captivated by live performances.
That's different though.
Oh, it's different, but I'm on about, like, plays.
Yeah, I love plays.
Like, me and my sisters went to see, what was it, Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
I've read the book, I've seen the original film, but when we watched this performance of it, did you come to that?
No, I think I may have been pregnant.
I can't remember, but either way, we saw this show and we were all just like locked on.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, we never really talk about adaptations on stage, do we? Really?
No. I mean, Harry Potter's on stage. I haven't seen it. I've read the screenplay, but I've not seen it.
But saying that would pretty much just be a live film, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's technically just a film, but live.
It's the thing. The only problem with that theatre thing is you have to pay for 2 shows. It's an all day thing, which is fine, but it's money grabbing. A little bit money grabbing there.
I mean, going back to adaptations, do you think there's, like, what would you say is the worst adaptation from book to film you've seen, and what's the best you've seen?
Ooh,
Now that's a tough one. Because now I've got to think of all 3 books I've read.
I'm trying to. I think going from a film to a book.
Basically, a book that's now on a film. So what's the worst adaptation you've seen, and the best?
So
the best book to become a movie, and the worst book to become a movie.
I think the best one I've seen from book to film is a film called Love, Rosie. Yeah. I find that's one of my favourite films, and I'd seen the film before I've read the book, and I find that I don't know if it's just because it's my preference that I prefer the film. Yeah. But it's a lot easier to follow, only because the book is written as letters and as emails, which is very cool and very interesting. I mean, there's another book that I've read called, I think it's called Holly's Inbox, and that's pure emails. That's really good to read. But I do find that the film version of that book of Love, Rosie is a lot better than the book. That makes sense. Yeah.
So what about a good one then? What do you think is probably one of the best adaptations you've seen?
I'm going to have to say Harry Potter. I know it misses out quite a bit, but
overall, you think they've done a pretty good
I think
job?
they did a really good job with it. I don't, like I said, they may have missed parts out, but overall, I think it's a great thing. The Hunger Games, I've not read the books, but I don't know if that's any good.
See, I've read, not all of them, I've read the first 2.
Yeah.
And I do prefer the books. Yeah. Because...
Is it the detail again?
It's not so much the details in there, but when you watch the film, I'm not being funny, but you see Jennifer Lawrence, you think adult. The book, it's all about, like, 10-year-olds and 14-year-olds fighting to the death.
Oh, okay.
It's horrible to read. Right. Like, it's so brutal. Right. Whereas the film, it's Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, it's Jennifer Lawrence.
You know what I mean? It's her from that freaking...
Hunger Games.
What's that film called? Where she's in space? Chris Pratt.
Not Gravity.
But
Passengers.
That's the one. And you know what I mean? And that didn't work for me. Like, for me, probably one of the worst adaptations, and again, this is just preference, but I mean, there is a couple.
I'm trying to think of a really bad one.
Again, I can't go from books because I don't really read all that much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd probably say Street Fighter, because the comics are great.
Yeah.
I do love the comics. I wasn't a fan of the game because I was more combat.
Yeah.
But I honestly, like,
terrible.
Well, Colonel Guile, right? He's an all-American. He has an American flag on his arm.
Wow.
He's portrayed by an Austrian. He's portrayed by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
As you do.
So there's this big part in the movie where he's basically been told he's not allowed to go and fight Bison, right? Like the main guy, who is also the character that I can never remember his name. It's the actor who played the dad from Addams Family.
Ooh.
I can't remember his name.
He's a fighting man.
Right, he's not a fighting man. Basically the guy that plays the dad. What's the dad's name in Addams Family?
Oh God. Oh no, I can't remember.
But either way, him.
Him, yeah.
Basically, his children, if I remember this correctly, basically wanted him to play a bad guy before he died because he was dying of cancer.
Oh.
So he was like, I'll play a bad guy. Sadly, he was in Street Fighter. But it was... The thing I hated about it was the fact that, like I said, you've got this big part where Colonel Guile, played by an Austrian, he's doing this thing where he's told he's not allowed to go and fight M. Bison. And he's like, we could give up and go home. But I'm not going to go home. I'm going to kick that sons of a bitch's ass so hard that the next M. Bison's going to feel it. Terrible impression, I get it. But you get my point.
Yeah.
And then at the end point, he's like, but who wants to go home and who wants to fight with me? And I was like, whoa. Now, the worst part in that film, though, it's not the cheesy ending where everyone jumps up and freezes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, proper. The worst part is where it does like... I can't remember if he kicks M. Bison, but after he does it, M. Bison drops to the floor. He raises his arm and flexes that muscle with the American flag.
Oh, why wouldn't you? I mean, come on.
Like,
got my tattoo. I'm
honestly,
proud American.
and Blanca, what the fuck happened to him? I'm sorry for the F-bomb, but they ruined so many, like... I love Blanca, let's be honest. He's Brazilian, he's got red hair and he's green. He's an angry Hulk, but he's also electric. It looked like Chris Eubanks with a wig. Honestly, it was horrible. And that's probably, I would say, my worst one.
Yeah.
You could tell because I'm moving an awful lot.
Yeah.
But I would say one of the best adaptations. I mean, are we talking film or TV?
Either, really.
The Walking Dead would have to be up there for TV.
Yeah.
Let me just have a swig of my drink.
Yeah. I think one of the worst ones maybe is the Lemony Snickets.
Lemony Snickets. Lemony Snickets, a series of unfortunate events. I've never read the books, and I really like Jim Carrey's performance in it. Or are you on about the TV show?
The TV one, I think.
I thought that, well, from what I've heard, I
yeah.
thought that was more close to the books.
Yeah, I've read a few of the books, but they are like, I mean, if they were trying to money grab, they could probably do a book or film, but they put it, like the film version, they put it all in one.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I didn't like it, to be fair, but that's just personal preference.
Well, if I was to choose a good adaptation for a movie, tough one this is. Again, because I'm mostly comic books. I mean, The Watchmen, to be fair, weren't too bad. The ending was horrible. But most of that was alright. See, I really love Batman. You know what I mean?
If you're going to go into like the Batman, the DC and the Marvel, that's completely different.
Marvel,
because they're massive things.
But if you look at adaptations, like the whole kind of Endgame and Infinity War sort of thing, that weren't too bad, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm just trying to think of films I've seen that I'm like, you know what, that was pretty tasty. You know what I mean? I'm
trying to think of a film we've seen and you come out and being like, oh my God, that was amazing. I can't think of anything.
No, I'm honestly, my brain's fried at the minute trying to think of a film that I'm like, wow, especially if it's an adaptation.
Yeah.
I'd probably say It. It was pretty good. I've not seen Chapter 2.
Do you mean It as in the original?
No, the new one.
The new one, yeah.
I mean, the original one scares the crap out of me because I don't like clowns.
Yeah.
Whereas the new one, he didn't look like a clown. He just looked like a really crap doll.
Yeah.
With a massive head.
I remember the first time I watched it. Well, it was probably the only time I watched it. The original one. We were at our old house.
Yeah.
And your sisters came over.
And we were all sitting there like...
And you
we
were
hyped it up so much.
You were winding me up going, oh my God, this is going to be the worst film. You're going to scare yourself and blah, blah. I was like, this is just shit.
In my defence, I was like 3 when I first watched it. No.
Even your sisters were like,
a good
my
adaptation, sorry. A good adaptation.
Yeah.
Shit, I forgot what it's called. Misery. Stephen King.
Oh, I've not seen it.
That. Oh my God. I'm not even hyping it up, but that is amazing.
I'm not very good at films. I'm just going to say I've not seen a lot of them.
Yeah, like she's crap with movies. I'm absolutely shocking with books.
We make a great team.
Yeah. So again, I mean, to round up this kind of podcast, it's not looking at what's better or what's worse because they are completely different things.
Yeah.
I do think it's all down to the individual. Like, I'm very impulsive. I need to do something.
Yeah.
I can't not do something. And I think sitting down, reading a book, even if it's something I like, I do struggle because it's like I need to move.
Yeah.
I'm like a damn squirrel.
Oh, have you tried the audiobooks, or is that the
Can't
same?
listen to it. Wait, I've been doing this headspace thing with Sam every now and then. And if you don't know what it is, it kind of helps you kind of process why you're thinking, why you feel,
it's
what
a
you're feeling.
meditation.
Yeah, and seriously, this is how my brain works because it doesn't shut off. And we was doing one and I felt my body kind of shutting down in a way. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And then he said something. I was like, Christ, I need to do something now. I don't know. It could have been like, I don't know. It just, all I have to hear is one word and it'll trigger a thought. And next thing you know, I'm completely like,
gone.
Yeah, and I'm like, I need to do this now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really weird. And I find for me, that's what books do. It's, I don't know. I could read a word. I'm like, ooh. I need to go and, I don't know, do some pottery or something. You know what I mean? It's just weird.
Yeah.
But I think the one we should do next, because you're not a massive gamer.
No, I do like it.
But we should do what games should become films. Because
Red Dead.
I wish they would do Red Dead.
That would be an amazing film. They'd have to get the right pick. Who would play Arthur though? Who would you get in?
If he was tall enough, I'd have Josh Brolin.
Yeah, good shout.
You know what I mean?
Good shout. Yeah. Well, Arthur's not that tall though, is he really?
He's about 5'10". Yeah. Dutch is taller.
Yeah. No, that would be a brilliant film.
I mean, if Jason Statham could do decent accents.
Yeah.
Because he's got the gruff, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But I was talking to Bruce, my guitarist, on this one. We know it's happening. It's just a matter of time because it's on Prime. Oh, I rhymed. Oh my God. There's a Fallout series coming out.
A series?
A series on Prime.
Oh, wow.
Like, I love the fan-based stuff that they make, or the fan-made movies, but I love it.
God help me.
War never changes. Oh.
We've watched, he's played the games, and we watched live streams of the games all the time.
Oxhorn is brilliant because of his voice.
Brilliant.
Like, there's a guy I watch called Oxhorn, and he basically plays. He doesn't necessarily just play, he does every aspect of it, which is what I like.
Yeah,
he tries to do every ending, every detail. He goes into all the side quests. And the way he plays it, he's narrating it, because Fallout, most of the time, is a first-person game.
Yeah.
And the way he's narrating is if it's him.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I went round the door and I saw an ammunition case. And you're like, oh my God, I did not do his voice justice then.
I think he needs to do audiobooks. You would listen to him if he had an audiobook.
Damn right.
He's amazing. Go and check him out. He's amazing.
But I think that's a topic for the next podcast, really. Games that should be films.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully we've brought to a conclusion for everyone that we haven't actually made one. The conclusion is they're both good. They're up to you, and well, that's fine.
That's okay.
And that's fine by me as I point to the screen with the gun fingers.
I was waiting for the Anchorman thing.
Well, I can't really say stay classy, San Diego.
It
means Wales vagina. I don't know where half of these people come from. What? That's out of Anchorman?
Oh dear, I love it.
I love Anchorman. But anyway, have a good one, my friends. We will see you on the next one. And yeah, stay easy. Stay easy. What kind of outro is that? Stay easy.
Stay easy.
I'm just going to carry on like this now. Right, have a good one. We'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.